When we talk about the perspectives like we did in the last episode, the one of the perspectives that's really the most useful in terms of processing either intense emotions or emotions you're not fully in touch with, or even in processing and developing compassion as for people that you kind of don't seem to gel with, um, is the second person perspective, the dialogue perspective. Now, there's lots of ways to leverage dialogue as a technique, but we're going to do this for this sort of purpose or demonstration, much like you would do um, playing a role playing game or something like that, where you imagine you are the voice of whatever sort of disenfranchised thing that you don't like or don't want to believe in or have strong emotions to. So the way this works in easy steps is you're going to write yourself a letter. So think in your head right now of somebody you don't care for, maybe somebody you don't like very much, maybe a strong emotion that you're not familiar with or not sure how to process, maybe to a part of yourself that you may be out of touch with. And you're going to write a letter, a note, an email, whatever, a series of text messages, whatever will float your boat to that person, feeling, or what have you. Now, to be clear, you're never going to send these messages. That's not what this is for. But you're going to write that note, and you're going to talk about all of the reasons why you're uncomfortable, or why you dislike this person, or why you dislike this part of you. And in that process, you want to be as comprehensive as you can. Write that list out. Give yourself 5 to 10 minutes to do it. That should be more than enough. But if you really need to think about it as you write, you can go longer if you need it. And then what you want to do is you want to take the equal and opposite position. So you want to write then from the position of the emotions you're having trouble with, or from the person that you really don't like, or from the sort of intense feelings that you're having. And you're going to want to write from that perspective and include in the writing back, justify the reasons for the response or for the behavior you're pushing against. So, for example, if you don't like your neighbor because they really are super loud, and you perceive that to be in some way obnoxious or a violation of your rights. And so you write your letter and you say, look, you're super loud. I can't stand you. This drives me crazy. Every time you speak, it's like nails on a chalkboard, whatever. Then you write the letter back from their perspective and you justify all that behavior. And you say, listen, I am loud because I finally found my voice, because nobody else in my family would stick up for me, because it's the only way I know to keep from, swinging fists, whatever the sort of language is. It doesn't really matter. The point here is you're writing from that equal and opposite perspective, and you're trying to find ways, sort of rationally, to justify that behavior. This is going to be exceedingly hard if you really, really don't like that person, or really don't like that emotion, or don't like that part of yourself. If you're writing a letter to, give it a name. If I'm giving my sort of aggressive feelings, for example, if I give them a name, I'll call them, Bill or Steve or whatever. And I write my letter to Steve like, oh man, Steve, I really hate those aggressive feelings. You bring that out and it drives me crazy. When Steve writes his letter back, he's going to write, listen, it's because you're not assertive. It's because you're not, meeting our needs or whatever. And in that process, in between taking those two perspectives, you then go and you write a third letter. And you write a third letter that synthesizes both the sort of distaste or discomfort, and the rationale or a rationale for that behavior. And in the synthesis, you're going to write, listen, I don't like this, but I know that you do it because of X or Y or Z. Or I don't like this, but maybe if we could come to terms with how you express that in a slightly different way, or maybe I can sort of finesse my understanding, whatever that sort of conversational language is in that third way, what you're really trying to do is you're trying to take these sort of subconscious dislikes and distastes and make them conscious and then reintegrate them into your consciousness. And this process was pioneered by a couple of different people in the integral movement. But if you type in like 321 shadow or shadow work or, shadow dialogue process, you should find, something similar on Google if you're looking for more sort of guidance in this. But that dialoguing perspective, essentially, which is a role play activity where you're projecting onto that other perspective, does help you kind of understand it further and take a different position. And in that process of taking a different position, you actually begin growth and reintegration. And when we do that, we become more whole and complete. We become more compassionate and understanding. And it really brings us to a much, much sort of better place when it comes to processing data in the real world with compassion and openness and care.